All right, what's going on, guys? Zach Schaefer here, and I want to share with you how to create an extremely high converting abandoned cart flow and abandoned checkout flow. Let's dive in. So here's what we're going to talk about today: how to set up the abandoned checkout flow, how to set up the abandoned cart flow, what's in each email, how to make it an absolute 10 out of 10 A plus email flow and SMS flow, how to add that in there, split tests, new addition, tests that you can run, pretty much everything that you need to know to have the most highly converting flows possible. Pro tips to improve them over time, and a bunch of common mistakes that I see when brands are setting these up, whether it's freelancers, agencies, or the brands themselves. All right, let's dive in. Quick intro here. Your abandoned checkout is probably the first or at least the second most important flow. It's right up there with the welcome series. It's absolutely essential that you implement this flow correctly. And the abandoned cart, yes, there is a difference between the abandoned checkout and the abandoned cart. There's not just one. We'll get to that in a second, but that's absolutely crucial as well. It's going to be one of your top revenue producing flows. So you definitely need both the abandoned checkout and abandoned cart. There's two differences, or there's one main difference between these two. The abandoned checkout, of course, is going to have the checkout started trigger. So it's when someone actually goes to the checkout page and they abandon that page. The abandoned cart, of course, is based on the added to cart trigger. And of course, that's for that's the difference between the two, and not having them is absolutely leaving revenue on the table. It's two different stages of the funnel. In Klaviyo, we separate them into two different flows with two different triggers, and it's a bit confusing because Klaviyo's default abandoned cart trigger has a checkout started, or their abandoned cart flow has a checkout started trigger, which makes things extremely confusing. I would not name it that personally. I would differentiate the two and have the cart and checkout separately. The main difference between the two, of course, is just two different stages of the funnel. People who abandon their checkout are much warmer. They're a lot closer to a purchase. So we can be slightly more aggressive in the abandoned checkout, and we can split test things differently, and we can at least get more data. So that's why we split it up, even though some people like to put them together. We can definitely reduce the time delay a little bit, send the emails a little bit quicker, and have slightly more aggressive messaging because, again, the leads are a lot warmer. And typically the design and copy between these two flows are about 95% the same, just with a few tweaks and variations here and there, which we're going to get into. So before we get into the nitty gritty details, why listen to me really quickly here? I'm not just some random guy on the internet waxing philosophically. For the last 3 years, I've been helping handfuls of D2C clients get awesome results that I'll talk about in a second here. We helped this brand add 58K in new monthly revenue. We helped Mark here add 43% in new monthly revenue. Helped this brand add 57K in new monthly revenue. We helped this brand here add 26K in new monthly revenue, and help this brand here add 47K in new monthly revenue. So a big part of all of these great case studies is having a dialed in abandoned checkout and cart strategy. That's absolutely at the forefront. Okay, so the purpose of these two flows, of course, the checkout flow, abandoned checkout flow, is to incentivize customers who started the checkout process to go back to their cart, get them to return to their checkout. We saved their items for them and we want them to complete their purchase. And same with the abandoned cart. It's very similar. It's people who added items to their cart but didn't start the checkout process or complete the purchase. So of course the cart, then checkout, then making the purchase. That's the order of operations here. There's going to be 4 emails and 1 SMS within this flow. In general, there's going to be slight variations between emails that you send to new customers versus returning customers. So if they've purchased 0 times, you want to have the copy a little bit different than people who have already purchased. And then the trigger, of course, we talked about these 2 triggers here. And then in terms of the profile filters, they're going to be pretty much exactly the same. The abandoned cart is going to be a little bit less aggressive, so has not been in the flow in the last 7 days. That basically means that if someone goes through the flow, they're not going to be hit up again. They're not going to enter into the flow until 7 days later, so they're not just consistently getting spammed. The abandoned checkout is a little bit more aggressive, and as you can see, the main difference here is that people who go through the abandoned cart flow is anybody who hasn't actually checked out. they haven't started the checkout process. And then the structure here, email 1A and 1B is going to be a simple reminder. There's no discounts here, just reminder of items left at the checkout. And then you can basically swap in an SMS. If they're signed up for SMS, you can use a conditional split to send them a text instead of an email as this first touch point. And then email 2 is going to be another reminder of items left at their checkout. And then if they're a new customer and they haven't made a purchase before, you can give them the discount, only 48 hours left. And then again, email 3 is another reminder, pretty straightforward. And if they are a new customer, they haven't purchased yet, then 24 hours left to use that specific discount. And then email 4 is the last call, 4 hours left to use the discount here. So diving into the diagram here, we'll look at the very first email here. We're split testing 30 minutes versus 2 hours for that first email sent. You want to see what is the actual best time to send that first email. You can put them into a conditional split here. It is part of a 50% random sample. That's how you do a split test. And then of course there's the essentially the trigger filters, the profile filters at the top here. And then as you can see down here, email 2, email 3, and email 4, there's the only difference between these two is whether you're adding a discount or not. So people that are a new customer, they haven't made a purchase yet, they're going to go down the right half. And if they're a returning customer, they're going to go down the left half. And they're pretty much the same emails, just plus or minus a discount. Okay, so moving on here, general notes here, you always want to use dynamic blocks to show the products that were abandoned. This is kind of how you do it. I'm not going to get super in depth into it. You can look up online how to do that within Klaviyo. If this is your first time setting up an abandoned cart flow, you're going to have to manually add the add to cart trigger. So it's a snippet of code that goes on your store's product page that gets the trigger to work. It's basically a piece of code that looks and sees when someone hits that added to cart button and then fires a message off to Klaviyo. This is going to differ based on whether you're using Shopify or WooCommerce or Magento or another CMS. A quick Google search is going to give you all that you need. And then as we said, email 1 is very important to the split test. So we want to look at A versus B. What's the best time delay? And the new customers, as we said, we want the messaging to be more about educating them on the brand. What's unique about the brand? What can I expect after they order? You want to solve those new customer objections, and you're going to give them the discount. This is how it might look. And that return cart messaging, returning customers, no discounts. It's more of a, hey, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Here's some, returning customer objections that are likely to be causing them not to check out. That's the whole point. And then you can look at your checkout abandonment rates. Averages for e-com brands is going to be 60 to 80%. If you're on the lower end of the spectrum, that's great. That's where you want to be. If you're in the 60s, if you're in the 50s, that's awesome. That's amazing. If you're at the higher end though, 80% and above, that's where you can really build out these flows and increase, decrease that abandonment rate, increase checkout rate. All right, so some pro tips here. You always want to auto apply the discounts in your links. So in Shopify, what you can do is you can actually hit this button here that says get a shareable link when you create a discount. Basically, it's going to auto apply. So when they click the button in your email, when they click the link in the email, it's going to automatically put that link into their account. It's going to put it into the cart and checkout so they don't have to copy and paste it or remember it. So it's super easy to do in Shopify, but any other CMS, if you're using WooCommerce or Magento or something similar, you can always do that. Use an us versus them angle to handle objections. So this is a great example here. It's showing this brand versus all the other brands, and it's helping to solve objections. Speaking of objections, why do people not check out? There's a lot of objections that they're probably running into. A lot of times, as humans, we just want to see what the total cost is before making a purchase with shipping and everything, discounts and everything included. So people just check that. That's a big reason why people don't check out, of course. Another reason could be maybe the checkout process isn't seamless. Maybe they have to create an account and jump through a bunch of hoops and hurdles and stupid annoying stuff like that. Shipping costs and delivery time, that's another reason. Again, going back to pricing, they just want to see what that looks like. But if it's a shipping issue, you could put in a free shipping discount within your cart and checkout flows. delivery time that people want to know. They also want to know, like, will this specifically work for me? That ties back into social proof, but it might be a social proof issue. They don't think that, are there people like me that are using this product and getting great results? That's where you can add in social proof from like celebrities and big name influencers and press and things like that, but also just reviews, like 5-star reviews of the actual product. And overall, they might just not trust the brand and the product. So you need to give them more information and have more touch points. Another pro tip here, if you're having a massive sale like Black Friday, update your abandonment flows with your latest and greatest discount. It's going to take some extra work. However, it's definitely worth it because you don't want your flows during Black Friday to have a worthless discount. There's no point. Your flow revenue, it doesn't make sense. And then just be clever with your copy. You could just go into ChatGPT and put some generic, hey, we've saved your cart for you, like stupid, boring copy like that. Works, but it's not the best. And it's not going to make you stand out within the inbox. So I put some examples here of some other brands that are really crushing it, that are going outside the box, and they have some great copy here. And it doesn't look like every single other abandoned cart or checkout email that they're getting all the time. All right, so the individual email structure, email 1A and 1B, you want to cleverly remind subscribers, of course, that items are left at their checkout or in their cart. You want to use dynamic blocks. You want to use reviews and social proof to get customers over the hump. So that could be customer, or it could be higher level like press and celebrity reviews. Handle objections. What makes you guys unique? Use that table. Use us versus them. Shipping and delivery information. Talk about that. Give people details that they need to make a purchase, essentially. You want to mention features and benefits and use some icons for easy readability. And then let them know at the end, hey, you can reply to this email if you're experiencing any issues or if you need help with your order. That's a great way. You can essentially just make sure that they reply back to the customer service email. And it's an awesome strategy. It's worked very well. Email 2, if you are using a discount, 48 hours left to use the discount. So it's going to be, again, another reminder. You always want to have dynamic blocks. We include those in pretty much every single email within this flow. You want to talk about unique qualities of the brand, a little bit different than last time. So if you had more information about like free shipping and things and discounts in the first email, you could have more benefits and trust icons and things like that. Just spread out your information across these 4 emails. It really is going to depend on exactly what your brand is doing and what gets people across the line. And then again, if you haven't used reviews and social proof, you could use this as a dedicated email to reviews and social proof, or you could use the previous one as that same purpose. Just depends on exactly what makes sense for your brand. Email 3, only 24 hours left to use the discount. This, again, you could just expand on what you are previously sending them. You want to use dynamic blocks, of course. More urgency and scarcity is huge for this email. Kind of that cart is expiring, last chance, limited stock, we saved your items, that type of messaging. And then also now's a great time to give more information about the product. So how does it work? Tell them about the quality and ingredients and materials used. Tell why what's different. That us versus them theme is great. And then what else do customers at this point, if they haven't made a purchase already, what else could it be? What other objections typically do your customers have? And then email 4 is a great chance to use a plain text email if you want to. This is really a last chance reminder. Use the discount, maximum urgency and scarcity. I'm not going to send any emails after this. So it's kind of your email number 4. Get them across the line if you can. All right, so now how to upgrade your flow. You want to split test the most important variables being the offer, timing, and email structure. So what we've done in the past, we've tested plain text versus designed emails, celebrity reviews versus actual customer 5-star reviews. It could be timing. You definitely want to check that with email number 1. We build that into the structure. You can also split test the offer. There's a lot you can do there. It could be 2% off discounts. It could be a dollar amount off versus a percentage off. You could throw in free shipping. It could be a buy 2, get 1 type of thing. Whatever makes sense. You definitely want to look at what actually resonates with your audience. You definitely want to split test the time delay of email number 1. This is an example. of doing that here. So as you can see here, this one we decided that 42 minutes and an hour and 27 minutes is the way to go. And so you want to look at, is this statistically significant? There's some calculations that you can run, but basically you look at, okay, this email on the left here, it had 2.13K of placed orders. And then this one on the right here had only 1.67. So it looks like so far this one is the winner. But again, you need to do some quick math and make sure that's actually statistically significant. And then you can actually conditionally split based on cart value. So higher value carts versus lower value carts. You could change up the discounts or differentiate the messaging, whatever you think makes sense for the brand. That's really where your strategy comes into place. And then you can actually trigger split based on top selling products. So if you have, this depends on how many SKUs and categories that you have, but you can actually go in here, and if it makes sense for your brand, you can actually look at which actual product did they abandon and send a specific email based on that specific product. It can get very complex at times, so it just depends. If you have a huge, if you have a very high AOV store, this works great. Like for example, if you're using, if you're just selling very expensive products, it makes more sense to go into more detail. If people are just looking at one very expensive product and they have their eye on that specific one, you can make a whole entire abandonment email dedicated to that specific product. And then conditional split by number of purchases. So it could be 0, 1, 2, 3 plus times. So you could just, split, have 4 conditional, groups essentially, or you could just do 0 versus, multi-time purchasers. However you want to do it, here's some examples of how we've done it in the past. And then again here's an example of what a plain text email from the founder would look like. All right, a couple common mistakes here that I see all the time. Number one is being the hero header not being optimized. You'd absolutely want to have the hero image, offer, and CTA all within the first fold of the email. So, we have very short attention spans as humans. And we definitely want to include all that information at the top in the first fold. Flow being too short, I definitely recommend 3 to 4 emails within this flow. I wouldn't go super long and just absolutely spam people, but if it's, one or two emails, it's typically not enough. You're still going to get the most benefit out of having 3 to 4. And then a lot of times I like to do social media icons. I don't like to have those in the footer. On average, we're seeing, between 8 and 12% of people actually clicking these buttons down here, and instead of going back to their cart, they're going and checking and scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and things like that instead of buying your products. So we always like to remove that from our abandonment flows. Dynamic recommendation blocks, another great thing to use here. I definitely recommend you can put in here, best-selling products, newest products, random products, things that the person has viewed, things that Klaviyo recommends for that person to view. There's a lot that you can do within here, and I 100% recommend putting in, other items that person has viewed. All right, so wrapping up here, if you're running a D2C e-commerce brand doing 6 or 7 figures per month and you want to add 50 to 200K to your monthly revenue in 90 days, or we go ahead and give you refunds, you have basically 2 options here. You can go ahead and give me an email or check out our website and book a call. Appreciate it. And thanks for listening in.